Hello and welcome back to another episode of Football Heritage Transfer Talk. Make sure you subscribe. Stop the video and subscribe. Drop a comment, turn your notifications on, follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, and let us get into it. Let's get into the video. Chelsea Football Club, what is my crime? Chelsea Football Club, what is my crime? Why is it that you guys just love signing players that have bantered? You just love it. It makes you so happy, it makes you excited, it makes you, why? This is exactly what happened last year with JD Sancho. I had bantered Sancho for 3 years straight. Was it 2 years? I tried to be bantering Sancho. You said, bring him to the bridge, bring like that. Now, Alejandro Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho. That's the player we're linked to it. According to Fabrizio, Chelsea is keen on Garnacho. Garnacho is keen on Chelsea. He said the deal is still far from being completed, but it looks like if they can get if they start negotiating, they will probably reach an agreement and we'll probably sign Garnacho. So let's talk about it. When starting this podcast, you could have never told me that I would have to talk into Garnacho comes because he's joining your football club. There is no way I'd have believed you. I'd have laughed at you. But here we are. I guess football humbles you. I guess football teaches you lessons. I guess football shows you that you don't know everything. And yes, Garnacho to Chelsea. Let's let's speak about it. Let's get into it. What are the pros? What are the cons? And yeah, so first of all, I think Garnacho is coming to be deputy left winger. I think the plan this season, just like last season, is to have two in every of the four attacking positions. So I think the plan is Neto Estavao on the right, Palmer Simmons in the center, and Gittins Garnacho on the left with Joao Pedro and Delap up top, right? So I think Maresca wants to have two in every position, which is fine, which makes a lot of sense. Now, I think both Gittins and Garnacho are new signings, so none of them is really established. So there's going to be a lot of competition to lock down that left wing, which is good. Competition for places is always good. The pros of Garnacho as a footballer, he is prem. Okay, wait. I don't say he's prem proven. Sorry, wait. He has played in the prem. Okay, hey, good. Yes, he has played in the prem. So he is used to the physicality and the intensity of the Premier League. He knows what the league is about. He does not need time to adapt and all of that. Yeah, he has played in the prem for a few years now. I think 2 years or so. He's like, I'll say, an established prem player. Like he has played in the league, right? I will be so real. I know I'm buying him as a left winger. I will be so honest. If you ask me personally, in my own opinion, I think Garnacho will be better on the right. I think Maresca experiments a lot, and I would really, really love him to actually experiment with him on the right first. And I'll tell you why I think so. I think if Garnacho plays on the right, it's much, much, much easier for him to keep the game simple. It's easier for him to keep his game simple and to be effective. I think if he plays on the right, he can actually be effective. Why? He's fast. He's rapid. He's very, very fast. I don't think any fullback would catch if he really gets on his bike. He's going to be rapid. Nobody's catching him, right? And we'll have players like Cole Palmer. We would get Javi Simons. We have Enzo Fernandez. These are players that can play that through pass in behind. So he gets in behind the fullback. And once he gets in behind the fullback, his job is simple. Either you're getting a good ball into the box for the striker or you're finishing if you're in a good enough position to finish. Very, very simple, but very, very effective. Sometimes simple football is actually effective. I would really like to see that. But I think if Garnacho is on the right, look, he's fast, he's direct. He will always want to make that run. He will always want to make that run in behind the defender. So yes, he would want to always be on the verge, be on the lookout to get in behind the defender. Of course, he will have to learn how to time his runs. But yeah, he can get in behind the defenders, put in a good ball, or finish the chance, right? Personally, I think that's what would work. I think that's what we should actually try to experiment with him, right? Another thing about Garnacho is that he's relentless. Now that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing, because the thing about Garnacho, which is a stark contrast to Sancho, Garnacho is not scared of taking on his man. Does he always get it? That's a different story, right? But he will always try and take on his man. He gets the ball, you know, okay, Garnacho is going to try and take on his man, he's going to try and beat his man. He's direct. I don't think he gets it enough, to be honest. I don't think he gets his dribbles enough. That's why I'm not that convinced. But it's good that at least he tries to beat his man. Sancho would almost never try to beat his man, if we're being totally honest, right? So that's another thing. You can look at it as both a pro and a con, right? Him being persistent, or him always, let's say, persevering, right? But yeah, personally, I think on the right hand side where you can get him behind, make it simple for him, finish, get a good ball in, effective football. That's what I really like from Garnacho. But on the left, I don't know. I think sometimes when he has to cut in and shoot, or cut in and dribble, I don't like that part of his game. I don't think it's effective. If we're speaking about the cons, because of this Garnacho signing. Ah, God, football will humble you. Because I can't lie, I think Garnacho's decision making sometimes is atrocious. I think his decision making sometimes is actually shocking. Like sometimes there were a lot of good counter attacking opportunities, a lot of good maybe 3v2s, maybe 2v1s, good situations that United found themselves in last season. And I was like, Garnacho ruined the attack. Garnacho ruins this counter attack. And it's obvious. I watched a lot of United. I think it's only Chelsea I watched more than United last season, and maybe Arsenal. But like, I watched a lot of United games, and I could see Garnacho in front of my eyes. I could see the guy ruining attack after attack after attack consistently, right? So I think that that's something that he will really need to work on. I think his decision making, I think his final action can be so suspect. You know, whether it's the final ball, whether it's the final shot, whether it's the finish, right? I don't think it's good enough, to be honest. I think his finishing leaves you wanting more. There's so many chances, so many chances that Garnacho misses. I'm just laughing because obviously it was not my player. I'm laughing my ass out because how can somebody miss that, right? His finishing was so suspicious, to be honest. And I think he needs to work on his final ball. He needs to work on his decision making. He needs to work on his finishing. If we get Garnacho right, to be honest, we are getting a very raw player. We are getting a very raw player. He's so far from the finished article. I don't think his game is polished enough, to be honest, right? I think he still needs a lot of refining to do in his game, right? We're not getting the finished article, so he's going to have to grow. He's going to have to improve. The room for improvement, see, the room is big. That room for improvement is big like mad. But yeah, honestly, that's just what I think. I think he needs to improve and he needs to do it quickly. But yeah, like I always say, look, once at the end of the day, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm not a Caicedo fan. I'm a Caicedo fan, but I'm not a Cole Palmer fan or a Caicedo fan or a Cucurella fan, right? At the end of the day, once I am a Chelsea fan, so once you put on that shirt, I'm going to back you, I'm going to support you, and I'm going to, want you to do the best for my club. So that's what it is. And let's see how Garnacho does. If he does get in, according to Fabrizio, it's not yet so close. But the main thing is that Garnacho is keen on Chelsea, Chelsea is keen on Garnacho. So let's see what happens in the coming days. Now, staying in Manchester, we are seeing one of the most interesting, beautiful, entertaining transfer sagas we've seen in a long time. And it is so beautiful because it involves so many moving pieces, so many different things that could happen, so many different combinations that could happen in this transfer window. But yeah, basically, let me just summarize, right? Liverpool bid for Alexander Isak, 120 million English Great British pounds. Newcastle rejected said bid. Most people think it's because, of course, Newcastle haven't gotten a replacement. They wanted to get Ekitike, but Ekitike went to Liverpool. They haven't yet been able to get Visa. They haven't yet been able to get Benjamin Sesko. And just guess who else is in for Benjamin Sesko? Manchester United. Right, so you can see how everything is interconnected. And funny enough, Leipzig in their negotiations with United, they mentioned that if they are selling Sesko, they would like to get HOJLUND. So that's another piece of the puzzle, that they like to get HOJLUND from United. That is their dream striker. Who dreams about HOJLUND as their striker? who Who does that? Anyways, yes, Hoyland is their dream striker. So it's just very, very beautiful because nobody knows what's going to happen. Sheshko is still undecided whether he's going to make the move to Newcastle or make the move to Manchester United. United for them for strikers is between Benjamin Sheshko or Oli Watkins, right? For Newcastle, they're still trying to get visa, but so far nothing on that end. And Sheshko is still undecided between Newcastle, Champions League football, or United. You know, the big name United, right? So everything is just funny. Liverpool, you people still want ISAK after breaking record for Florian Wirtz. You still want ISAK. You people are greedy. And you will not succeed this season. I will be there for your downfall. I will be there. Anyways, hopefully they don't get Issa because if they do, then it's actually scary hours. But anyways, I think we would have a separate video for that where we really discuss when everything is settled, when everything is clear. We really discuss what has transpired for United. Let me just drop this. In my own personal opinion, I think they should go for Sheshko instead of Oli Watkins. And the reason I say this is because Watkins turns 30 this year. Realistically, how many more good years does Watkins have in his legs? If we're being honest. And by the time he reaches 33, 34, you know, he's already aging. You're not going to get a good sell-on value for him, to be honest. Like, how much are you going to sell him for, right? And then you don't want to be that situation where you have an old 30-year-old or like a 30 plus player. He's on high wages. You can't really get anyone to buy him. And then it's just like the Casemiro situation all over again. You know what happened with Casemiro? They bought him at an old age. He gave them a fantastic season, yes. But after that, it's like, okay, he's on big wages, so it's difficult to move off him. And he doesn't even have the legs to play as well. Watkins, how good is he going to be? Because if United really want to, go into this long-term project, right, that they want to see with Ruben Amorim, is Watkins really going to be the striker to lead that, or Sheshko, who is young and upcoming? And he can still improve, but he has a longer period that he can give you. So it really depends on what United wants. Are they looking for a short-term fix? Are they looking for a long project striker? Personally, I think Sheshko is the man they should go for because of how much, in terms of time, he has more time to give them. He has more growth. I know United fans will have PTSD because HOJLUND was also a young striker, and this was what was meant to be with HOJLUND, and it hasn't worked out so far. Fine, but I believe more in Sheshko than I believe in, or I believed in HOJLUND. So I think Sheshko is the man for them to go for. But let's see how it all unfolds. We would definitely make a video when everything unwraps in that transfer window. If you've made it to the end of this video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, drop a comment, and tell us which first of all, tell us which team you support, and tell us what transfer you're still looking forward to, if your team needs to make any transfers, and what you think about the transfers. What do you guys think of Garnacho? What do you guys think of ISAK? What do you think of Sheshko? What do you think of Liverpool being greedy? They are greedy. Anyways, yeah, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and see you in the next episode of Football Heritage Transfer Talk.